Strange coincidences,
What am I looking at here?
mind-bending moments, and some really eerie clips that defy logic. Hang on to see what happens when the veil of reality slips and shocks the whole world. During a conference, a startling clip of Queen Elizabeth captured everyone's attention. For a brief moment, one of her eyes turned completely black, an eerie sight that was hard to miss. This footage sparked wild theories, especially among those who believe in the alien lizard race from the constellation Draco. According to them, influential figures, including royalty, might be shape-shifting beings controlling our world. While some argue it was just an odd shadow or a camera fault, others see it as proof of something more supernatural. However, if you believe in the alien lizard, this idea would be ideal for explaining this sudden change of eye. Red to green.
Will the budget still be going ahead?
During a live Sky News broadcast, viewers spotted something odd. A man walked out holding a bright red folder. He didn't stop, didn't exchange anything, and yet, by the time he reached the end of the shot, the folder had turned green. This clip came from a serious news agency, so it's unlikely to be something weird with science. This might be a real-life Matrix error, or perhaps there's another explanation for this strange occurrence. Either way, it's odd enough to make anyone look twice.
Chancellor, will the budget still be going ahead?
Three-legged man.
What am I looking at here?
Captured in the act on a busy street, this man appeared to have not two, but three legs. It was a baffling sight that had viewers scratching their heads and asking for explanations. Was it a trick of light, or perhaps perfectly timed footage, where something else in the environment looked like a leg? Some might have wondered if it was an artistic expression or performance, aimed to provoke thoughts on human form and identity. Or it could have been just a touch of humor or absurdity, where the extra leg was a quirky addition meant to create a laugh or two. Whatever it was, this was unusual.
What the fuck am I looking at here?
Strange changes.
Earlier this month. Unfortunately, we weren't able to reach the school district for comment.
During a live TV show, something very odd happened to this reporter. People watching started to notice that his skin looked different, almost like it had scales. At first, everyone thought it was just the TV acting up, but then it got weirder and his face kept changing. So the TV crew quickly changed the camera angle. Online, some people joked that he might be part of an alien group called Reptilians, who disguise themselves as humans. This strange moment made a lot of people talk and wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's something mysterious going on with some of these people.
Earlier this month. Unfortunately, we weren't able to reach the school district for comment.
Invisible opponent. In the boxing ring, every punch has a story, but this time, there was something seriously strange going on. One boxer had no visible opponent, yet he was still getting hit, ducking and defending himself from punches, as if fighting someone only he could see. The coach stood nearby, watching with a puzzled look, probably wondering if the boxer was having some sort of mental lapse. But here's the thing. The footage shows him moving as if he's genuinely responding to punches. Was there an invisible opponent in the ring? Certainly looked like it. Proof of reptilians. Do you believe in the reptilian mask conspiracy? There's this theory that giant humanoid reptiles live among us, blending in with human appearances. And honestly, this video might just support that idea. A man was recording himself, and what he revealed was chilling. First his one hand, then the other, and finally his face. It looked like he was peeling away a mask. But here's the real question. Why did he record this? It almost feels like he's ready to show his true form, as if he's preparing for a fight without any disguise. It's strange to think about, but this clip has definitely left people wondering what's really going on. Eyes roll. During a recent concert, Katy Perry went viral for a strange problem with her eye. All dressed up and in the middle of performing, her eye suddenly appeared to shift and unbalance, almost flipping upside down. The moment felt weird, and the first thought that came to mind was dolls. You know, those creepy dolls that some believe can store souls or even control people, like Annabelle from The Conjuring. For a few seconds, it looked like Katy might have been under the influence of some strange, doll-like spirit, briefly showing up on screen. What do you think? The Man on Water. Check out this wild video. It shows a person walking right on top of the water. Some people were saying it might be an alien or something from another dimension. Pretty spooky, right? But let's not get too carried away just yet. It might actually be something called pontoon shoes, or maybe a special inflatable device that lets you walk on water. These things help so that you don't sink by spreading out your weight. And this isn't a new idea. People have been trying to walk on water with gadgets like these for a long time, even way back when Leonardo da Vinci was around. So maybe this person in the video was just using some really cool tech then, I guess. Mirror, mirror. So, this girl was just messing around, testing out some phantasmagoria in the mirror to see if anything cool would happen. Pretty harmless, right? But then things got really freaky. As she looked into the mirror, her reflection suddenly seemed to stare right at the camera with a completely different expression than hers. Spooky stuff! This weird moment brings up an old belief that mirrors might actually be portals to other worlds. In some cultures, people think mirrors can connect us to alternate realities, or even to spirits. That's why sometimes reflections seem off or don't quite match with what we're doing. Or maybe, just maybe, she got a glimpse of something beyond our world. Van lift. Take a look at this now! A van was driving along, totally normal, approaching a spot where it was supposed to stop next to another van. But then, things took a strange turn. Both vans seemed to lift up slightly, almost as if they were floating for a second, then suddenly dropped back down. It was like reality just malfunctioned for a moment. This might be a time slip or temporal distortion. Basically, the idea is that the vans experienced a quick problem in time, making them act in a way that didn't make any sense. It's the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a sci-fi movie though, but here it is, caught on camera in real life. Spooky mirror reflection. In a spooky video, a father captured a moment that seemed more ghostly than just Halloween fun. The video showed a baby smiling at himself in the mirror. Suddenly, when the baby looked away, his reflection didn't move. It just kept staring with eyes that had turned pitch black. It took a few seconds before the reflection finally moved to match the baby. This creepy scene, meant to be just for fun, really scared a lot of people. Some knew it was just a trick and laughed, but others felt really unsettled by the sight of the baby's reflection moving on its own. Frozen girl.
Bro, I'm tripping.
A guy was out filming the weather when something bizarre grabbed his attention. Across the street, a woman was walking, but then all of a sudden just froze solid. She stood there motionless for a whole minute. Cars and people whizzed by, yet she didn't move an inch like she was paused in time. It was one of those scenes that make you do a double take. Everything else was buzzing with normalcy, except for her. These surprising moments make us wonder if there are hidden forces at work. Usually these things happen and no one catches them on camera, but this time, we were lucky to record it. Plane stuck. Here we go again. Another plane seemingly stuck in midair. A man captured this strange scene on video where the plane looked like it was hovering without moving forward. It's one of those things that just doesn't look right, but there might be a simple reason behind it. One possible explanation is a fata morgana caused by strong headwinds. When a plane flies against powerful winds, it can appear to hover because it's moving slower relative to the ground. Another factor at play could be the parallax effect, which tricks our eyes based on distance and motion. The combination of these can make the plane look frozen, even though it's still moving. Frozen crowd.
the f is happening?
Driving near Niagara Falls, a man noticed something incredibly strange outside his car. Both sides of the road were packed with people. But here's the weird part. They were all frozen in place, like statues. It looked like that freeze game we used to play as kids, except these were adults. And this wasn't a game. It was as if the crowd had been caught in some kind of magnetic field, or time freeze, where two dimensions collide and time stops. But then, why was he still able to drive while everything around him stayed completely still? Strange, right? Mark Zuckerberg.
Making the world more open and connected.
Oh my god, it's like a secret cult.
We all know Mark Zuckerberg, but have you heard the theories about him being controlled by a lizard alien? Yeah, it sounds wild, but there's a clip that got people talking. In the video, Mark takes a sip of water in a way that looks, well, strangely lizard-like, almost like he was using a tongue, just like a reptile. When this video hit the internet, people started pointing out other odd sightings of him. Some said he barely blinked during an entire interview. Seriously, not blinking at all. Now that's next level strange. For many, this only fuels the idea that he's actually under the control of a lizard alien.
Making the world more open and connected.
Oh my god, it's like a secret cult.
The Vanishing Woman. Oh my god, this one will have you looking twice at everything around you. During a live news segment, someone watching from home noticed something strange. Curious, he recorded the scene on replay, and it's definitely worth a look. While the reporter was interviewing someone, a woman in white clothes was casually walking in the background. But then, out of nowhere, she just disappeared. Not behind a wall, not behind a tree. She simply faded into thin air, almost like she was using an invisibility cloak straight out of Harry Potter. Trust me, you might be having the same thoughts as us. Cat moving. Now, I have cats at home, so I know they're usually up to no innocent mischief. But this was something else entirely. In this clip, a cat looks like it's trying to move forward, but it's somehow stuck, paws moving without actually going anywhere, like an invisible force was holding it in place. Could it be a snag, or was the ground itself shifting under her? Either way, this cat seemed caught in some strange, unseen force, moving, but not actually going anywhere. Anchor, frozen person. During a live TV broadcast, something unusual occurred. The news anchor, right in the middle of her report, suddenly froze. She wasn't moving at all, as if time around her had stopped. The screen didn't go black, and the broadcast didn't cut. She just stopped, mid-sentence, her expression locked in place. After a few tense minutes, she returned to normal as if nothing had happened. Now what could explain the stopped moment? While some might quickly dismiss it as a technical bug, others speculated about more possibilities. This might be a temporal echo, a phenomenon from a future where time travel exists, and echoes from the past are heard in the brain. And for that moment, the person freezes. What do you think? Max Headroom Incident. On November 22, 1987, something strange happened on Chicago's channel. During an episode of Doctor Who, the screen suddenly cuts to a person in a weird Max Headroom mask. This mysterious figure took over the broadcast, talking in a confusing and creepy way. His words were hard to understand, and his actions made no sense. For years, people have been fascinated by this bizarre clip, trying to make sense of it. Now, PM Productions has decided to add subtitles to help us understand what he was trying to say. Maybe, with a closer look, we'll finally uncover the secrets behind that strange broadcast. Unsettling moment. In a live TV event, viewers noticed something unsettling about a man standing in the background. His expression and gaze seemed off, almost as if he wasn't really there. It looked like he might be under some sort of control, his stare too intense and his smile a bit too forced. This eerie presence raised questions. Was it a case of him just being oddly attentive, or something more mysterious, like being jinxed? The moment sparked discussions, with some suggesting that his bizarre demeanor could be the result of something supernatural, or maybe just a strange quirk caught on camera. Bird in air. Imagine scrolling through your feed and coming across a video of a bird hanging in the air, not moving at all. That's exactly what was seen in this unsettling clip that's been spreading online. The bird seemed to be frozen in midair. People in the comments were puzzled. A professor suggested that maybe an invisible string or a fishing line was holding the bird up, letting it sway a bit with the wind, but not fly away. Some people thought it might be a mysterious force keeping the bird in place, adding a spooky feel to the whole scene. Blinking Virgin Mary statue. Recently, a remarkable event was recorded at a church in Ohio that caught the attention of many. A statue of the Virgin Mary, known to the local community for its significance, was seen blinking, captured on video during a regular day. The statue's eyes clearly closed and then opened, as witnessed by a number of churchgoers. This occurrence has been widely discussed, particularly among those who experienced it firsthand. For those present, it was a moment of quiet astonishment. Was it a moment of phantasm, or something else entirely? Lifelike statue. You won't believe what happened at Madame Tussauds in London. Not the royals themselves, but their wax figures were so lifelike, you'd swear they just blinked at you. Some folks say that jinns, those mystical beings from folklore, have the power to inhabit statues and even toys. Could it be those playful spirits deciding to bring a bit of magic to these wax figures? However, officials later stated that they had prepared these statues for moving testimonials before everyone considered them jinn. Disappearing man. On the boarding line, all captured on CCTV footage, a man was standing when suddenly he disappeared in a blink of an eye. An event so startling, it made a nearby person react in crippling fear. You might be tempted to call this an existential malfunction, but let me tell you the reality. It was actually the quantum displacement. This theory suggests that the man experienced a form of quantum displacement, where he momentarily slipped into another dimension or parallel universe. These occurrences could be linked to advanced scientific experiments or anomalies in space-time. But isn't it shocking that such a scary thing turned out to be just science? Flock of chickens.
What is happening right now? Chickies!
In Tampa, Florida, something out of the ordinary happened that left many scratching their heads. Brianna Antoinette was just about to feed her flock of speckled hens when they all collectively stopped moving. Yep. For over 2 minutes, the chickens stood completely still, as if frozen in time. She described the event as a glitch in the Matrix, prompting viewers to dive into wild speculations. Inspired by popular science fiction themes, some suggested that the chickens might have been caught in a time loop or maybe slipped into an alternate dimension. Fortunately, they returned to normal after 2 minutes.
Chickens!
Live broadcast.
Civilian casualties have long been a cornerstone of the counterinsurgency doctrine.
So, there was this super strange moment that happened on TV. During a live TV report, something really strange happened. The reporter was talking when suddenly her eyes started acting weird. One eye was blinking super fast, while the other eye didn't blink at all. It looked pretty spooky, like something from a ghost story, not just a normal TV glitch. People watching started wondering if it was just a problem with the camera or something more mysterious. It was only a quick moment, but it was enough to make anyone feel a bit uneasy. Even after the TV returned to normal, that creepy image of her eyes stayed in their minds. Could it be just a tech error or something else? Basketball court. At a recent basketball game, something unusual caught the attention of the audience, which was beyond the usual dribbles and dunks. There was a player about to take a shot, but hold on. Did you notice someone in the crowd? There was a guy looking exactly like him. It might be a twin, possibly. It's these little mysteries that add an extra layer of intrigue to the game. Then things got even more confusing. The player was holding the ball, ready for action, but in a blink, it ended up with a teammate. No visible pass. It was like the ball just vanished and reappeared. Even the team members later said nothing happened like that. Just one of those moments that keep you guessing, right? Weird faces. And now, from our top sighting. CCTV recently caught two individuals with extraordinarily unique facial features. At first glance, you might think they're just sporting their Halloween masks and showing up early. However, the oddity of their appearances suggests something more suspicious, like we have heard about the shapeshifters in folklore stories, right? It could be those due to sudden shapeshifting. These were not just typical costume party looks. With very little information available and no clear context, this footage leaves a peek of something truly unusual, or it could be something that needs proper research by the owners of the CCTV footage to find out the truth. No blink.
Awaken every single day to the freer space.
On a live TV show, viewers noticed something peculiar about one of the guests. This woman, though appeared calm and composed, never seemed to blink throughout her segment. She resembled a hypnotist with a very intense stare. This unusual behavior caught the attention of many. While some might speculate about supernatural reasons, a practical explanation could lie in medical conditions. Conditions such as dry eye syndrome or certain neurological disorders can significantly reduce blinking. It's possible that the unblinking woman might be managing a condition that affects her blinking rate. What do you think?
Awaken every single day to the freer space.
Selective rainfall. Have you ever seen it rain just in one spot while the rest of the area stayed dry? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it actually happened. A group of tourists in Italy captured a bizarre scene where rain was falling on just 1 square meter of the road. It could be due to unusual atmospheric conditions causing optical illusions, or a blip in reality, similar to something you'd see in a video game where the rules of physics inexplicably fail. What do you think? Could this be a rare natural occurrence? Or is it possible that sometimes reality itself has bugs, just like the digital worlds we create? The airplane frozen. A while back, a man caught something truly strange on camera. A plane frozen midair, as if someone had hit pause on it. It just hovered there, completely motionless, defying all logic. The man was returning from a well-deserved vacation when he saw this unusual sight. Even though he was in a moving car, the plane appeared stuck in the sky, not moving an inch. The footage quickly went viral, sparking debates and theories. While some tried to explain it as a hallucination, others saw it as a possible hitch in reality. Moving chairs. We've all seen those scenes in horror movies where chairs start moving on their own, right? But let's be real. This time, it actually happened. A man walked into a creepy, abandoned house, and right there in front of him, the chair started spinning and sliding, just like in the movies. It was like the furniture had a mind of its own. Some believe that abandoned places like this are haunted by spirits that can manipulate objects around them. In folklore, restless spirits, or even mischievous poltergeists, are known to move things to make their presence known or to communicate. Whatever was behind it, this moving chair made the place feel truly haunted. Bag in air. Here's something you don't see every day. A plastic bag that looked like it's strutting across the road, with its handles waving like tiny arms and what seemed like feet underneath. It almost seemed alive. I know, ghost bag sounds tempting, but let's keep it serious. Sort of. A closer look suggested it could just be the wind doing its thing. Air currents might be giving this bag its strange walk, and if there's traffic nearby, the airflow from passing cars might be bouncing it along too. Either way, watching this bag walk across the street was equal parts funny and spooky, like it was on a little mission. Face shifting. Just take a look at this. One moment, this girl was just being normal. Then out of nowhere, her head turned a full 360 degrees. As if that wasn't strange enough, it didn't stop there. Her face seemed to shift into someone else's entirely. Now, this might be more than just a lizard alien situation. She could be in some kind of altered reality or liminal space, a place where the usual laws of physics don't apply, allowing her to do things that otherwise seem impossible, like twisting her head all the way around. Or maybe it was just a time slip, where space and time are all mixed up. Ghost swinging. In the US, a guy took his kids to the park, but things got strange fast. While sitting in the car, he and his kids noticed one of the swings moving all on its own. No one was there, but the swing was going back and forth like someone or something was on it, or pushing it. He was so freaked out, he wouldn't even let his kids out to play. He swore there was no wind, but as he panned the camera, you can see the trees moving a bit, suggesting a light breeze. Still, he was convinced it was something spooky. Was it just the wind? Or could there really be a ghostly presence at play? You tell us. Jumping girl. This clip is seriously creepy. A girl was seen jumping around, but instead of just 2 legs, it looked like she had several. It wasn't some camera blip. It looked pretty real, and it was strange to watch. One thought that crossed my mind was that this could be something supernatural, like a curse. In old folklore, people who faced punishment or dark forces sometimes transformed into creatures with strange features. Or maybe there was some kind of dark influence at play here, causing her to change in a way that felt spooky. Weird scene. In a truly strange moment on live TV, 2 people were hugging, and everything seemed normal at first. It was clearly a woman in the embrace, but then, right in the middle of the hug, she suddenly turned, and it looked like she had transformed into a man. It wasn't some small kink or a camera trick. The change was obvious and left viewers baffled. Some might call this transmogrification, a sudden, almost unnatural shift in appearance of any grotesque. However, it's the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a fictional story, certainly not on a regular news show. The Shapeshifter.
He will ask you if you delivered the message. I'll play both parts.
This clip showed a man speaking on stage, and what happened next was strange, almost unsettling. While he spoke, his face seemed to distort and shift for a moment, looking almost different. It was a quick, strange transformation that left many viewers puzzled. Some suggested it could have been due to a video bug or interference with a broadcast signal, which sometimes caused the person to warp or freeze. Others thought it might have been the result of low-quality video compression that made faces look distorted under certain conditions. Whether it was just a camera error or something else, this strange moment definitely got people talking.
He will ask you if you delivered the message. I'll play both parts.
Figure in fog. In the early hours of a foggy morning, a strange video surfaced, reportedly filmed by visitors in the mountains. In the mist, a figure stood, eerily resembling the headless horror characters we've seen in movies. The sight alone was enough to send chills down anyone's spine. At first, it seemed like it might just be a trick of fog, some kind of illusion perhaps, but then again, it didn't feel like a simple chimera. The figure seemed too solid, too real. You could think of it as being just a prop, or even someone playing a prank. But there was something genuinely unsettling about its presence in that dense mist, like the ghostly figure disguised in it. Flying car. For years, people have dreamed of flying cars, imagining a future where vehicles soar above the streets. But science hasn't quite brought us there, or has it? In this video, cars appear to defy gravity, lifting off the ground and hovering in the middle of the road. It was a surreal sight, like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Hard to tell if this was exciting or downright terrifying. Was it some kind of illusion, or did we just witness a snag in reality? Woman disappeared. In this clip, Scarlett Johansson was being interviewed on the red carpet, but if you looked closely, there was something strange happening in the background. A woman dressed in black walked behind Scarlett, passing through the frame. But then, in an instant, she just vanished, gone without a trace. It was as if she had just disappeared into thin air. Some might say it was just a camera angle trick, but it really looked like she vanished right in front of everyone. Raven frozen in the sky. In this strange video, a raven appeared completely frozen in the sky, hovering as if time itself had stopped. This unusual event happened on a hot afternoon in India, and it quickly drew the attention of bystanders. Many pulled out their phones to record, while one brave man decided to try and help the bird. He climbed onto a car, using a broom to reach the raven. As soon as he touched it, the raven suddenly woke up and continued its flight. Some suggested that strong wind currents might explain this strange sight. Birds can sometimes appear motionless while navigating gusts of wind, but even with this explanation, something about the scene felt off. Cat to man. In this bizarre CCTV footage, something truly strange unfolded on the side of a road. A car was moving along, causing a cat to scurry across to the other side. But just as the cat reached the roadside, something unexplainable happened. It transformed into a man. One moment, it was a simple cat, and in the next, a human figure stood. It's hard to believe, but the footage seemed to capture a genuine shapeshifter in action. Does that mean shapeshifters are among us? The subscriber's pick. Did you guys catch that video that was all over the internet? It showed someone who looked like the Pope, surrounded by a crowd. But get this! As he was reaching up to his face, it seemed like he pulled on the skin above his nose. The skin stretched way more than normal skin should have. And his eyes? They looked just like the hollow sockets you'd see on a mask. People began wondering if maybe we were seeing a body double, or, even crazier, something like a non-human in disguise. No clear answers have emerged yet, but it definitely got everyone talking about it.